Welcome to Khealos' Gaming Table. I am Khealos. On this channel I talk about tabletop RPGs and miniature war games. Tonight we're going to talk about the OG of mech combat, warfare in the 31st century, giant stompy robots. Yes, tonight we're going to talk about one of my favorite games. No, one of my favorite franchises. We're going to be talking about Battletech. Battletech is set in the 31st century. Humanity has left Terra and has colonized hundreds of star systems near it. This region is now called the Inner Sphere. New star nations were formed, such as the Draconis Combine and the Federated Suns, claiming vast swaths of space, searching for exploitable resources. Numerous smaller states appeared, such as the Magistry of Canopus and the Taurian Concordat. Their territories were claimed as far away from the great houses as they could to avoid being conquered. Technology might have evolved, but humanity didn't. Wars broke out between these various nations over territory, ideology, and resources. During the various arm races, a new weapon of war emerged, the battle mech. Battle mechs are giant walking tanks, some standing as tall as 10 meters, covered in armor and bristling with weapons. The original mechs were designed for physical labor, such as agriculture, construction, and logging. The Terran hegemony changed all of this when they designed the Maquis from the ground up in 2439. This changed warfare in the Inner Sphere forever. As the Maquis was deployed to various war zones, the great houses of the Inner Sphere realized that they were now outclassed. Over the period of several years, the plans for the Maquis were stolen by the great houses, and soon their own armed forces sported battle mechs. Battle mechs didn't stop with the Maquis, as each great house designed mechs for their own use, adding new features, increasing armor, and adding more devastating weapons. Battle mechs have dominated the battlefields on countless worlds ever since. Battle mechs are used to defend and conquer worlds. Battle mechs might be the star of the show, but the people of the Inner Sphere are its heart. All the stories are based around them. The characters are well written and three-dimensional. No one is truly good or bad. Everyone has an agenda and is pushing it forward. Battletech is a very human-centric setting. There are no aliens in Battletech, except for that novel that nobody likes to talk about. Battletech started life as a game called Battle Droids, created by the FASA Corporation in 1984. Lucasfilm sent them a letter stating that they had claimed the rights to the term droids, so FASA changed the name to Battletech, changed the Battle Droids to Battle Mechs, and not much changed after that. To speed up production time, FASA licensed several anime mech designs from Fang of the Sun Dougram, Crusher Joe, and Macross, or so they thought. After legal battles with Harmony Gold and Playmates, FASA ceased using any mech design that was not created in-house. These now unused designs were collectively referred to as the Unseen. These Unseen might be referenced in a novel or source book, but visually would no longer be depicted. FASA produced Battletech until they closed their doors in 2001. At that point, the IP and the licensing can get a little fuzzy. WizKids acquired Battletech and put out a Clicks version of the game called MechWarrior Dark Age. Microsoft acquired the digital rights for video games and computers. Battletech was rebranded to Classic Battletech to differentiate it from Dark Age, and was licensed by FanPro. Tops, yes, that Tops, purchased WizKids in 2003, but did not alter any of the licensing, at least until 2007, when Khealos Game Labs received the license. CGL has been producing Battletech ever since. Battletech is not just a game, but an expansive franchise. There are hundreds of novels helping explore the setting. Numerous video and computer games have been released. Many fans got their first taste of Battletech through MechWarrior 2: The Clans. There was a popular collectible card game. There was even a cartoon. There are 4 different classes of mechs. The first are the lights. These range from 20 to 35 tons. Light mechs are designed for reconnaissance and scouting. They don't carry very heavy weapons or much armor. Speed is life, as they are fast and fragile. Medium mechs are the workhorses of most forces. They range from 40 to 55 tons. They have a wider variety of weapons and armor than light mechs do. Heavy mechs range from 60 to 75 tons and are the hammers of most forces. They carry heavier armor and a more wide variety of weapons, able to strike at multiple range brackets. Lastly, we have assault mechs, the wrecking balls of the battlefield. They range from 80 to 100 tons. They carry the heaviest armor and the most devastating weapons. They're not particularly fast, but they're not designed to be. Assault mechs are there to dominate the battlefield, destroying everything in their path. Battle mechs wield a wide variety of weapons. The lowly machine gun has a short range and will probably do nothing more than scratch the paint of your opponent, but the good news is you'll probably die of an ammo explosion before you run out of ammunition. Flamers are uncommon and also very short range. However, if you need to clear out an infantry-infested building, nothing beats a flamer. Autocannons are heavy caliber projectile weapons from the lowly AC-2 to the devastating AC-20. Battle mechs can carry missile systems. There are two flavors. First, you have the long-range missile, or LRM. You can fire volleys of missiles downrange to soften up your opponents. Next, you have the short-range missile, or SRM, and this is designed to give you body blows once you get up into somebody's personal space. Ammo-based weapons can absolutely wreck your opponent, but ammo is finite. You also run the risk of taking a critical hit in an ammo bin, and, well, pop goes the weasel. Battle mechs can also carry lasers. There are 3 different varieties: small, medium, and large. The different sizes indicate the amount of damage that they do, the amount of heat that they generate, and the range that they cover. Lastly, we have the big boy of the energy weapons, the Particle Projection Cannon, or PPC. It is a devastating long-range energy weapon, a man-made lightning cannon. If you want to get up close and personal, Battletech does have you covered. You can punch and kick your opponent. Some mechs have swords and hatchets, allowing you to hack your opponents apart. For the truly bold, or the crazy, you have the ultimate physical attack, the Death from Above. A DFA is when you fire your jump jets attempting to land on the head of your opponent. Whether you land this or not is often not important, as just the attempt of a DFA will send up cheers from around your table. For a mech warrior, heat can be just as great a threat as your opponent. Everything a battle mech does generates heat, whether it's walking, running, firing its weapons, or activating its jump jets. Battle mechs are equipped with heat sinks to help dissipate this excessive heat. Heat sinks can only handle so much, and it is possible to generate more heat than they can dissipate. Once your heat gets to a certain point, your battle mech will start slowing down and your accuracy will diminish. Eventually, your heat can get to the point where you run the risk of your mech shutting down. If you let your heat get too high, you run the risk of any remaining ammunition that you have detonating, and, well, you go up like a Roman candle at that point. Battletech is typically played on a hex map. Each hex represents 30 meters, or about 98 feet across. Hexes will show an elevation to help determine line of sight to an enemy, as well as any obstacles such as trees and buildings. In Battletech, 2d6 is used for just about everything going off of a bell curve. The winner of initiative in Battletech actually moves second. This helps simulate a better view of the battlefield and allows them to react and maneuver around their opponents. Shooting is resolved one mech at a time. However, all shooting is considered simultaneous. Even if you take a lethal critical hit, you will still be able to react and fire before your destruction. Battletech's popularity has waxed and waned over the years. When FASA closed their doors, many felt that the game was on life support. Video games helped keep the franchise alive. So did the veteran players and Ironwood Metals, the company that produces the miniatures. In 2013, Piranha Games released MechWarrior Online. This helped introduce the franchise to a whole slew of new players. PGI took many of the classic mechs and redesigned them for a more modern and consistent aesthetic. They took this a step further by redesigning many of the iconic unseen mechs in an attempt to differentiate them from the original mecha designs. In 2017, Harmony Gold brought a fresh lawsuit against Piranha Games and Harebrained Schemes Studios. The lawsuit stated that these redesigned unseen mechs were too close to the original designs. The judge on the case ruled against Harmony Gold, saying that the new mech designs were different enough from the original mechas. The case was then dismissed with prejudice, meaning that Harmony Gold could no longer bring this specific lawsuit back up. With this legal victory, PGI and Khealos Game Labs would be able to use these new reseen mechs, ushering in a new golden age for Battletech.
In 2018, Harebrained Schemes released Battletech. Battletech is a computer game that is turn-based and has the feel of classic Battletech, but is not a 100% analog. In the game, you create your character and start off as a mech warrior serving under House Arano in the Oregon Coalition. After a bitter betrayal, you join and lead a mercenary company that you can also completely customize. You are able to take contracts to defend as well as capture bases, attack convoys, and destroy an enemy OPFOR. As the game progresses, you reunite with Camino Arano and work to liberate the Coalition. The game is set on numerous planets, has many different units to choose from, and has a robust mech modification system. Several DLCs were released, adding even more mechs, a new story, and also bringing you into contact with the infamous bounty hunter, as well as the Black Widow herself, Natasha Karinsky. I have enjoyed the game, and I've spent way more hours on it than many other games.
In 2019, Khealos Game Labs released the newest version of Battletech, A Game of Armored Combat. This is the core box set that has everything you need to get started to play Battletech. Also in 2019, Khealos Game Labs launched their Clan Invasion Kickstarter. The Clan Invasion Kickstarter had a modest goal of $30,000. The plan was to redesign several Clan Omni-Mechs and release them in a box set, updating the setting to the Clan Invasion era. The Kickstarter was wildly successful, garnering over $3 million. Using that money, Khealos Game Labs was able to redesign a whole slew of mechs that had only ever been released in metal and add them to various Lance and Star packs. In 2023, Khealos Game Labs launched their next Kickstarter, Battletech Mercenaries. Mercenaries was even more successful than the Clan Invasion Kickstarter, earning over $7 million. The Mercenaries Kickstarter is scheduled to be released June of 2024. There are many reasons that I like Battletech. The rules haven't changed much in the near 40 years that it's been around. Sure, there have been some minor updates over the years, but if you learned to play in 1984, 1994, 2015, or 2023, the rules are virtually the same and you can pick up dice and start rolling. The lore is expansive and moves forward. It's never stagnant. While I might not always agree with the decisions that are made, I can see why they were made, and I'm glad that the story is progressing and not just spinning its tires. There are numerous factions to play, whether you wish to represent one of the great houses like House Davian or House Guerilla. You can play mercenaries, out for yourself. You can even play the invading clans. If you really want to become an internet meme, you can also play Comstar. Don't forget to pay your bills. Battletech is a smaller scale game as well. You typically only need 4 to 5 mechs for a battle. The game isn't very expensive to get into. You can pick up A Game of Armored Combat for $60, and that will give you everything that you need to start playing, and I mean everything. Forces and rules will not be made obsolete during future development cycles, unlike other game manufacturers. Games Workshop. Battletech is also a very cinematic game. You and your opponent will trade jabs and punches, circling each other like boxers. You'll look down and start crossing off armor and structure, wondering how much more damage you can take. You look at your opponent, declare your attack, and roll the dice. Your shot punches through damaged armor, hitting exposed ammunition. You watch as your opponent's mech explodes gloriously. If you're looking to get into Battletech, you have several different options. You can start with the beginner's box set. This can be picked up at your friendly local game store or ordered online. If you're in the US, you can pick up the Battletech Essentials box set from Target. Both of these will contain 2 exclusive mechs, record sheets, maps, dice. After that, you'll want to pick up Battletech, A Game of Armored Combat. This does contain 8 high-quality plastic mechs, several of which are unseen, 2 from each weight class. It also has a full rule book, record sheets, maps, dice, and a novella. If you wish to play Filthy Clanners, you can pick up the Clan Invasion box set. If you're looking for some more advanced play, pick up Battletech Total Warfare. This book contains additional rules for weapons and technology and also allows you to incorporate combined arms, including infantry, tanks, and VTOLs. Battletech is one of the older game franchises that is close to 40 years old. Many thought it was dead game walking, however, it has enjoyed a massive resurgence over the last several years. Battletech is also attracting new players. It's not just for older grognards. This video has been a high-level overview of Battletech. I've touched on numerous topics, but haven't gone into many of them very deeply. If you're looking to get into the lore of Battletech, please check out sarna.net. On YouTube, check out Tex Talks Battletech, MechFrog, and Big Reg Tech. If you're looking to learn how to play Battletech, or just want to watch battle reports, please check out Death from Above Wargaming and Guerilla Miniatures. Links in the description below. This is my first YouTube video. I hope you enjoyed it. What's your favorite era? What's your favorite faction? What's your favorite battle mech? What would you like me to talk about next? Like and subscribe, as this will help you fight the wobbies. This will help with the YouTube algorithm, and I'll see you in the comments below.